How much you paid us?
Hey everyone, it's Ace coming after you live with another fantastic episode from the Razy Show. And I've got some incredible, I don't even know if it's good or bad, I really don't. But our first news story. Pink smoke signals in Rome call for women priests. How can a woman be a priest? I just want to know in my humble opinion, how can a woman be a priest, huh? What I pay for what?
Register for the citizen bank. How much?
It was 150.
150?
Yeah, and then the passport's more.
150 pesos?
No, American dollars.
Oh.
Am I excluded from the conclave to elect a new Pope Wednesday, and more broadly from the Church's entire global priesthood? Some Catholic women were determined that their voices will be heard. In a park on a hill overlooking the dome of St. Peter's and the Church's Vatican headquarters, campaigners released pink smoke from flares and demanded that women be allowed to seek ordination. Oh, this is the end of the world when women are going to become priests. Yeah, even I know my hair is bad, but this is really bad. It's fucking bullshit. We are saying to the Cardinals, you cannot keep ignoring 50% of the Catholic population. Why? St. Peter was the first priest, the first pope ever appointed to the Church, the Catholic Church. Leave your comments, likes, and shares, please, about this. You cannot go into a locked room and discuss the future of the Church without half of the Church, said Miriam Duignan. Whoever they elect needs to be brave enough to properly tackle the questions of women's inclusion, because so far it has not been, even by Pope Francis, said Duignan of the Weingards Institute in Cambridge. Duignan was briefly detained in 2011 after she attempted to enter the Vatican to deliver a petition in support of a priest backing the activists' cause. Had the activists taken their Wednesday protest a nod to the black and white smoke used by the Holy See to announce voting results to the Vatican, they believe a similar fate would have awaited them. Whenever we go down to St. Peter's Square, we are detained by the police, and we certainly not invited to go into the conclave, Duignan said. What kind of name is Duignan, bro? The only women that those 133 men will see in the next few days will be nuns who are cleaning their rooms and serving them food and tidying up after them. The Cardinals meeting Wednesday behind closed doors in the Sistine Chapel will not hear any female opinions during deliberations expected to last days with multiple rounds of voting. No, women should not be priests. They should not. Read the Bible, people. The only women they will see before white smoke rises to announce their decision has been made will be the nuns who cook, clean, and serve upon them in the Santa Marta guest house. That's how it should be. In the global church as a whole, women have begun to take some senior lay roles, a process that accelerated a little under Pope Francis' papacy. But even those who have studied theology and church ministry are excluded from the priesthood, and only priests hold the most senior leadership roles. Yes, Pope Francis elevated and promoted a few women into roles of responsibility, but they are always lower in status and authority than a man, said Duiganen. Even the youngest priest in the room is the boss of the oldest, more experienced women. A sin and a scandal. The campaigners say women took equal roles in worship into the early church before medieval reforms, and that in Duiganen's words, the men who are going into the Sistine Chapel this afternoon know that, and they don't want everyone else to know that. Kate McElwee, executive director of the Women's Ordination Conference campaign group, described this as an injustice and a crisis for the church. While the world may wait for white smoke or black smoke, we send up pink smoke as our hope that the church may someday welcome women as equals, she said. Why? So they can be more pro-abortion? In my humble opinion. Is that why? French activist Gabriella Fidelin called it a sin and a scandal that women are kept out of priesthood and the conclave. No, it's not. This is how Jesus formed his church. This is how Jesus formed his church, formed his ministry, and how he founded his gospel. That's not true. Women should be kept out of the church completely. French activists, according to Duiganen, even after Francis's relatively reformist 12-year pontificate, only one of the 133 cardinal electors to be sequestered in conclave has taken a positive stance on women's ordination, and she was reluctant to identify him by name. I would be too, because it's wrong. In case he found himself expelled from the gathering. This despite the once taboo issue being given and airing in the synod, an assembly of clergy, clerics, and lay people, which under Francis has included female members. In October last year, a report was issued after Francis approved a working party to look into the idea of allowing women to become deacons, a step before the priesthood. You know what? I'm in the Philippines right now, and we have no deacons here. It's freaking crazy. Where is the Vatican here? We have deacons in the U.S., but not in the Philippines. Why? It acknowledged that the question of women's access to diaconal ministry remains open, but concluded that it was too soon to make a decision. That's our first story and our last story today, because I'm tired. I love you people. Leave your likes, shares, and comments. Peace out.